I'd like to apologize for being late with this episode. A lot of stuff has happened in my life. Now back to the meat of the content. I'd like to admit that I broke this series up into arcs to make it easier to discuss and whatnot, but I've discovered that the artificial arcs that I've created have a theme to them. The first arc doesn't really have a theme that I care to look for now, but the second arc could be the theme of teamwork. The third arc is a thin line between good and evil, trust and loyalty. Through this theming, the other warriors, not Rio, get more characterization, in particular Kento. Kento is portrayed initially as this hot-headed dude raring for a battle and wanting to go all out, but is revealed to have insecurities about hurting his comrades. While he never contemplates joining Dynasty, his doubt about his armor's nature meant that he chose not to transform in battle against a juiced-up evil-possessed Anubis and couldn't transform when he chose to because, as we learn, the armor responds to the wearer's emotions. We also learn a lot about the armors themselves. In terms of physical makeup, all of the armors, this includes the armors worn by the Ronin warriors and the four warlords, are made from the same type of metal. We also learn that they may have been used for evil initially, as it is revealed the 9 armors were all owned by Talpa at some point before 5 of the armors were taken from him and repurposed. The armor's ability to do good or evil depends upon the intentions of the one wearing it. More of Talpa's personality is revealed as he openly recognizes himself and his actions as evil and manipulates the 4 warlords into serving him. When Anubis is temporarily freed from Dynasty by the Ancient One, he learns that Talpa doesn't care for him, but cares a lot for the armor he wears. When Anubis tries to point this out to the other warlords, they downplay what he is saying, indicating that Talpa has them willingly serving him under potentially false pretenses. This line between good and evil is stressed when the Ronin warriors are forced to confront again that the 4 warlords are human. It isn't about your species so much as it's about your actions. Talpa is able to manipulate and control the 4 warlords because they do their own actions with evil intentions, and as long as the warriors do theirs with good, Talpa can control them without significant effort. The main foe of this arc is Kale and Dice. As the warriors move near Dynasty's main castle, Dynasty uses a 3-tier strategy. Surrounding itself with a thick fog, which is called Dynasty's moat, that can attack foes as thick as on the outside, while Dice awaits with the underworld spirits to negate the Ronin warrior's transformation ability on the inside. My guess is that being on Dynasty's territory gives these spirits a boost, as said ability would have been useful in their earlier endeavors. Next is Kale, who uses a strategy of flooding every area with Dynasty soldiers to lead the warriors underground where he is waiting. As I suspected, Kale's armor absorbs light energy and is sort of the opposite to Sage's own. What saves the warriors is the Ancient One. He acts as a Deus Ex that saves them in the nick of time. Dice returns to psychologically pick on Kento, which causes the overall power of the armors to weaken as they need all 5 to achieve full power, adding a 4th stratagem. This sort of implies that the armors have a sort of collective. We see this when Rio uses special attack that reaches Talpa and destroys the 4 gates while injuring Dice at the same time. The Ancient One also has a more active role. His main role is to further dissension within Dynasty ranks and to take over exposition duties from Mia. He dies after a battle with Talpa's spirit form that is just a floating head. This is enough to get Talpa arrogant and allow the warriors to enter the castle. Some miscellaneous stuff. We learn that Rowan's symbol is life force while Anubis is loyalty. The city that Dynasty invaded is called Toyoya. Dice seems to be able to control electricity for various effects like controlling technology or to bring buildings down, and that his ability to absorb light is limited. More of Sage and Rowan's personality is fleshed out. Sage expresses a desire for Mia and Yuli to stay away, but protects them regardless, showing him to have a hard exterior but being a softie on the inside, while Rowan thinks more about what his powers can do, such as collateral damage, revealing that the Ronin warriors are about protecting and preserving civilization. He acts as a foil to the more hot-headed Kento. Kento has super strength, making him physically the strongest of the 5 warriors. Another thing that I forgot to mention is that part of Dynasty's strategy was to split up the warriors. The underworld spirits use a strong windstorm type attack to sort of just split them across the city. Kale's strategy of forcing the Ronin warriors underground by having the Dynasty soldiers sort of flood the area also has horror movie vibes. There is also an animation error in episode 14 where the possessed Anubis is facing the 5 warriors minus Kento not being transformed. Instead of an untransformed Kento, there is an untransformed Ronin next to a transformed Ronin. This concludes part 3 of the Ronin Warriors review. I'd like to thank everybody for coming by and listening to my content. If you have anything to say, please put it in the comment section. Social medias are in the video description. And when we return, we'll be talking about the 4th arc, which is the battle within Dynasty Castle. Everybody have a great day.